activity starts now.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's having a great, wonderful Monday night. And I hope everybody had a great Labor Day week. I know the holidays, we should have like one a month, one Monday a month be off. That would be wonderful. Well, welcome Monday night, 7 o'clock, for another episode of Mysteries Beyond the Scenes, where we bring you mysteries, missing persons, homicide cases, and mysteries as well, where we combine forensic astrology, clairvoyance to help solve crimes. And yes, indeed, we do participate with real crimes and missing person cases. I work with a lot of search and rescue groups. Forensic astrology, we don't know how it works, but it's extremely accurate and it does work. So welcome into the chat and welcome on YouTube, welcome on Twitch, welcome on Facebook Live. And tonight at 8 o'clock following this show, we will have the Otter's Den, where I will be on to talk about eclipse season with Keith on the Otter's Den. And we'll go over what's ahead. We've got a really good eclipse season coming. So it's an active season. But tonight's show is very interesting because this is very new for forensic astrology. If anybody is involved in the true crime community, you know by now who Danelo Cavalcante is. He escaped on August 31st from a prison in southeastern PA. He is extremely dangerous. About 2 weeks ago, he was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend, whom he stabbed 38 times in front of her 2 children. Her little daughter had to run to the neighbors to call 911. So he was awaiting to be transported, like within 4 weeks, to another prison. Well, he has been missing now and escaped August 31st and has put at least 500 law enforcement agencies, state police from Maryland, Delaware, PA, everybody, communities are on there. I mean, he's literally terrorizing. There have been sightings of him. His MO seems to be where he likes to break into people's houses. He has stolen a van. He has changed his appearance. He was found actually in Virginia by Fairfax County after he had murdered his girlfriend. And Fairfax County found him on the run in Virginia. So everybody needs to be on the lookout for this guy. He has really slipped through the cracks. You know, and what is amazing to me with this gentleman, he is 5 foot tall and 120 pounds. So where is he hiding? So I started to watch this and I thought, wait a minute. Of course, as a forensic astrologer, we need timestamps, but I've never tracked somebody. And I thought, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna track him and let's see if the astrology will tell us where he's been hiding. And amazingly enough, as usual, the astrology is going, wait till you see the charts that I've been compiling. Now, you have to remember this situation is so fluid that the YouTube crime community, JRL Investigates, the Grizzly True Crime, that whole true crime community, they are really outshining actually the news media at their work and what they are doing in this true crime community. And question in the chat, Fairfax captured him. Yes. And he went to trial and was found guilty. So he did not get away from Fairfax. He escaped from Northeast Pennsylvania. I'll show you the prison in Chester County in PA, because he was a resident of PA, but that's where he ran to, Virginia. So, it's good to get a look at him, especially if you travel on the interstate. It's always good to know when somebody that's this dangerous is on the loose in this country. He's from Brazil. He doesn't speak hardly any English, but I think he knows a lot more English than what he has led up to act like he doesn't. But he speaks fluent Portuguese and Spanish. So he is from Brazil. He is wanted in Brazil for another alleged murder. There are allegations of gang connections, which means he may have a whole underground area that's helping him. They don't know. So what is interesting, like I said, if you want to continue to follow this case, I'm actually listening to the police scanner, because every time there's a sighting of him, I'm getting on the laptop and I'm doing another chart to see if that's where he appears. Because, it's new in forensic astrology. I don't know anybody that's ever done this. But I thought, well, I'm going to take this opportunity. And like we've always talked about, everybody has Ring cameras. They're going to find him on cameras, and the charts will tell us if he's going to show up on a camera. Sure enough, everything is pointing to where he's at. But I'm still not convinced enough, because this is so new, to put it out there and say, here, go, send it to the LE and let them and say, look, go there, or search and rescue, go there and look. We're not sure. I haven't done this before, but it's going to be an interesting study. And I'm going to show you all tonight what we have. And yes, he is still on the loose. Is he still on the loose? Yes, very much so. So take a good look at his pictures and just keep that in your mind, and keep an eye open for the media. It's going to be this week, with the astrology, it's going to be a big media week. So, also I would tell you to check out Grizzly True Crime on YouTube. She's a YouTuber. And also JRL Investigates. He is live on the scene. He's actually, he reminds me of an old journalist back in the day, when journalists were actually really journalists. And, he could be heading to Virginia. No one knows where he's at. So let me show you what we've got, what I've done so far, because I think it's so interesting to see where the astrology took me this week. And then I would sit back when they would get a sighting of him, and sure enough, the mapping said that's where he was. So it's pretty amazing stuff. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know it's kind of a little bit off the beaten path of what we usually talk about. However, it's interesting nonetheless to see what astrology can do for all of us. So let me put this out on here and we'll get started. So there is a picture of Danelo on the right. And the picture in the middle is Saturday night. If you can tell, that was taken from a Ring camera. That is where he has already altered his appearance. So you have to watch this guy. He's pretty slick. So let's get started, and I'll show you all. Convicted murderer who was arrested in Virginia escapes a Pennsylvania prison. That was August 31st. So that's how long he has been playing this cat and mouse game with law enforcement. A man recently convicted of murdering his former girlfriend in front of her 2 young children has escaped a Pennsylvania prison. Again, stabbed 38 times in a domestic violence situation. He was found life in prison with no parole, and he was awaiting transfer to a state facility. So this is the Chester County prison where he was at. So I'm going to give you a timeline. And I'm thinking, why was a convicted murderer allowed to be out on the basketball court to begin with? I don't know. I guess they have to let him out so many times. Now, at 8:30 a.m. on August 31st, Cavalcante's block entered the exercise yard. At 8:51, check this out on the camera. This is how he escaped. He literally crab clawed up the wall, pushing his way through razor wire. He ran across the roof, pushing his way through more razor wire, and escaped. Renee, he is from Brazil. And he did indeed go up to his sisters, and I'll show you that in the course of this week. Saturday night, he indeed went up to his sisters. She has since been arrested by ICE. And we'll get to that as well. And that also showed up in the chart that he was going to go north to see a female at her home. And so that's how he escaped. He literally crawled up that wall. But they did. Now, remember, he crawled up this wall at 8:51. They didn't notice that he was missing until almost 10 o'clock that morning. So he had an hour run from them. He had an hour lead time before they noticed he was missing. So, of course, there was a complete lockdown, the 911 call, 911 reverse call that there was an escaped prisoner, locked down, everything. Schools locked down, the community locked down. So, let's get this guy, y'all. So, I did a chart and a map. And the little block in the middle is the prison. So if you notice down on the bottom left where the red little cubes are, it's called Longwood Gardens. So it took us right to Longwood Gardens. That is Longwood Gardens. He was spotted multiple times, initially in locations near the prison, until just last Saturday night. So he was actually, and I'm going to call it terrorizing because people were very frightened. He was breaking into homes. Schools were canceled. They've labeled him as dangerous. Well, I thought he's 5'1". I could tackle I could tackle him. So he was all throughout the community. He had already murdered 2 people. I agree. This is a very frightening situation. He's a dangerous killer. So this is Longwood Gardens in Chester County, Pennsylvania. He was spotted continually around this area, right exactly where, look at this. I couldn't believe it. That's exactly where the map told us that he was. And that was like the day that I started doing the maps. I thought, well, he's over at Longwood Gardens. There it is. The two red the line took us right down there. Now, throughout the week, and I'll do this for time's sake because it's quite an extensive story. He was caught on ring cams going through people's backyards. As you can see, he has stolen a backpack. He broke into a gentleman's home. His children were upstairs sleeping. He knew he was there. He flashed the lights on and off, and this guy flashed the lights on and off back at him. He took fruit. And the gentleman said, there are knives in my kitchen. So a backpack and a duffel bag, and now he's got a hoodie. So but unfortunately, there are so many ring cameras and footage that they had to go through again a day in advance. It always seems like Cavalcante is a day ahead of them, but he's going to make mistakes. They're going to catch him. So there he is on the ring cam. So now I took this picture because this is the radar. This shows how law enforcement reacted. And that is the helicopter pattern going around and around Longwood all last week. That was their pattern, police. Now, as you can see, there are some more lines that are showing us where he was at. So as soon as I found out that he was captured on the ring cam, but first I wanted to give you some interesting information on the actual chart. And as you all know, we comprise a chart first, then the chart goes into mapping. This is the situation at 8:50 a.m. on August 31st when he escaped. Of course, 12th house on an astrology event chart is prison. He's angry too. He's got Mars right on the ascendant. When he escaped jail, he went into the woods immediately, shown by Taurus. What allowed him to escape so easily? Astrologically, there is a triangle that I put out, and it's a grand trine. He could have easily escaped. I think it was at last minute. He saw the opportunity and went for it. This is a very favorable. He had all the stars, so to speak, planets were on his side. However, he's violent with Mars sitting right there at the number 1 house. I thought, okay, he's going to be filmed going into people's homes because Pluto's down in the homes. So that was the very first chart that I did. And I thought, okay, he's going to be caught. He's going to get caught on a camera. So I'm just going to wait. And he's going to be down in that in the gardens area. So I'm going to wait and see what happens. Well, as you can see, there's where he escaped. He was spotted on Saturday, attempted burglary on Saturday. And every time that he was sighted, like 50 police cars just go to the scene. So, we're watching this live on YouTube, and you can actually watch all this action going on. The kids are doing a wonderful job. They're acting like old-time reporters used to. So this is the chart that I comprised, and I put the yellow dots where he was actually spotted. And sure enough, the chart matched identically. And I'm like, shit, look at this. We've never done this. This is somebody that's hiding. They're on the run. But the astrology matched completely perfectly to where he was going to show up. Every line hit exactly where he was spotted. Now, this was a week ago. So this has been going on a week. I'm starting to get like PTSD from this. And so he was spotted on Longworth Gardens camera on Wednesday evening. But like I said, law enforcement didn't find until Thursday afternoon. He's always a week ahead. Rumors were attempted break-ins into the home in the area. Well, the rumors turned out to be true. So I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do another chart when he was on the camera. So I did that chart, the sighting chart. And it was at 9:33 p.m. that we saw the one that I showed you, the ring camera. Well, sure enough, Taurus gives us a description of the perp. Short, he's got a beard, short legs, and thick black hair. That came right out of the book that described a Taurus to a T. He's in Taurus, which means he's in the woods. And then if you'll notice what I wrote on here, and I wrote this on, now remember, I did this on Labor Day. According to this chart, he is headed north, because Leo is north, to a female's home. Where there's some kind of a park or somewhere around where he's headed, or a golf course or something around where he's headed. But he's going to head north to someone's home, and it's a female. He's going to have help. So I kept thinking, well, it's the gardens. It's Longwood Gardens, because that would be fifth house, an attraction. He's going to head, but I hindsight's 2020. How did I know a week later he headed north to a female's house? So let's take a look at that chart. Okay, here's this mapping. Now, the little guy that's running is every place where he was spotted. And on Thursday evening, he was spotted again. And if you will notice, every time he was spotted, sure enough, another line hit him. So the astrology is telling us where he's going, even before he goes. Now, if you look at the little green dots, I thought, there's the north. He's headed north. Look at that little line that's going northeast. I thought that's where he's going to head. How's he going to go there? He's running. He's in a perimeter. He's at Longwood. They've got it locked down. You saw the helicopters. I thought, here's the perimeter that they had locked down. They had 500 law enforcement agencies. This is what they were doing the whole time. And I thought, look at this. I thought, there is no way he's going to escape. How is he going to get out of this? He's not. I thought, northeast, he's going to head. That's what the chart says. Always trust the astrology. So, okay, there's the chart. So sure enough, outside of the perimeter, he goes on Saturday to Bailey's Dairy. Guess what he did? He stole this van. Somebody around this area, and surely they knew, surely they knew that somebody was loose, an escaped convict was loose. The van was left open with the keys were left inside of it on this dairy, which was southeast, right outside, southwest, my bad, right outside of the perimeter, another line. So he takes the van, and in a statement Sunday morning, Cavalcante was seen overnight near Phoenixburg in northern Chester County, more than 20 miles northeast, I'm like, crap, of the area until now has been the focus of the search. Shortly before noon Sunday, however, they said that the residents may no longer see a large law enforcement presence since investigated leads have emerged that indicated he was no longer in the area. Well, I don't know if I believe that. So late Saturday night, someone calls into the police and says, this is Cavalcante. He's on my ring cam. I was out to dinner. He was asking to meet with me. I know that it's him. I know his sister. If you notice in the middle, look at his appearance, which has drastically changed. So he's clean shaven now. He doesn't even look like the same person, actually. The police came. He went to the police station and took this picture, the one in the middle. And the policeman said, it's not him. Well, they took and did facial recognition, and sure enough, it was him. It was him. So here we go again. He's ahead of the curve again, because somebody said, no, it's not him. But, I agree. It doesn't look like him at all. So JRL Investigates went around, and this is the type of an area that you're dealing with the terrain. This is where the police found the white van back in off the road behind trees. They didn't find it until the following morning. So now this guy is now still another bit ahead of them. He's still ahead of them. Classic white van, Keith. I know. Keith says classic white van. Here's Keith. Feels like they have a chance to nab him on Friday. Wait till you look at the astrology for Friday, Keith. I'll show it to you. We'll look at it after this show because Friday's a great possibility. He's in Phoenixville. Sharon Phillips says that. Yes, Sharon Phillips, I believe that as well. So where did he go? Updated photos. So again, there he is talking to the gentleman on his ring cam in Portuguese that he's an ex co-worker. The gentleman was not at home, but he's talking in the ring cam, completely changed clothes, and has changed another new hoodie. And his appearance. This is the command center of all of the officers at work. It's unbelievable. They have SWAT teams. They have it all. This is the most updated map that I did. Now, I'm still trying to find, because it's so fluid and there's like reported sightings of him everywhere. But I'm still trying to find a really good timestamp so that I can at least do another map. And as you can tell, the maps went. So Phoenixville is up in the area where his sister was. He was also apparently spotted at a car shop, like a garage or a car shop. That could be just a sighting. So as you can tell on this map, and this is the map that's from the August 31st date. All the little places where he was, the map has told us. So where do I think they should look next? I mean, this is quite a fluid case going on. I mean, it's got everybody's in true crime right now is just completely glued to this case. It's incredible. I think they should try Northwest, that line. And I also think up in this area, but I'm not sure. Like I said, this is something that the astrology is very, very new with this. Therefore, I really wouldn't feel comfortable, passing it out and saying, look here, look there, because we've never done this before when somebody was on the move. But I found it extremely interesting that, the chart said he was going to go northeast to see a female at her home. And there is, nobody's sure that the sister helped. Perhaps it's another female that he, went to see. We don't know. Apparently, somebody, obviously, in my opinion, to me, I think, he caught up with somebody to get clean shaven and a change of clothes. Unless we can think about this. Were those items in the van? They very well could have been. Is he desperate? When people get desperate, they do desperate things. So Sharon says Malvern, Exton, Westchester, all of those areas, probably near Valley Forge, very close. And Sharon also says there's a homeless park in Pottstown. See, very well could be. Anybody in the Pennsylvania area, I would be on the complete lookout for this guy. He's 5 foot tall. He would be easy to spot. 5 foot tall. Very easy to spot. And That's very nice, Keith. Well, it's working. I know, but the minute it doesn't work would be the minute I would give it out and they would go look. And so but it is working. I'm going to try to find another really, really good timestamp that I can sit down with a map. I need another sighting of him. Sharon I'm in Limerick. Is that close, Sharon, to him? Everybody in these areas should be very vigilant. Lock your doors. The police are saying that repeatedly. Lock your doors. Be vigilant. I mean, we should all be vigilant now, but be even more vigilant if you're in this area. If you're anywhere in the Northeast or in that area, be very vigilant. Petersburg is a homeless place. Okay. Sharon says Petersburg is a homeless place. Sharon, you should tune in to JRL Investigations because he's out and about in all of these areas. And Linda says, could they have moved the sister as part of a strategy to sort of smoke him out? That very well could be. There are also rumors that he does indeed have a cell phone, which, of course, I'm sure he does by now. Where's he getting money? This area is very, very rural. I had no idea that southeastern PA was this rural. It's farmland with horses and, well, dairies and just the landscape. Look at that. And then now are they headed towards the mountains? So he could hide anywhere. It is rumored that he has been in the jungles. He's hidden in the jungles in Brazil. So this would be a walk in the park to him. A wooded area like this would be just a walk in the park to him now. It's very interesting. And now in the press conference today, no, I don't think it was in the press conference. I'm not sure. However, everybody has been saying that he ran out of gas. Now in this area, he took it did somebody follow him? Did he have help? Now, the last time he ran and was caught in Virginia, he had assistance. He went around and they feel that because he was contacting old coworkers that he's very desperate right now. I feel if he had gang type connections, there's an underground, and I do not feel that he's desperate. I think he's out foxing them at every turn, and I think he's laughing about it. And Sharon feels he's headed south towards Delaware, not far. Yes. And I think it is rumored that he could be headed down to try to get to Cuba. He had gone, when he did leave Brazil, he went to Cuba and got fake IDs and fake papers and came to the United States. So Cuba would be the place for him to run to. So he would get down south and head, like you said, Delaware, and he would travel down south. And, if nobody is paying attention to this and they saw him out, you've got a killer on your hands. Be very observant. And Sharon replied to Linda, nowhere near King of Prussia Valley Forge. King of Prussia is showing up on a lot of the maps as well, Sharon. So be very, very careful in those areas. The police are out in force. I'm going to stay with this story, and I am going to continue to update. I'll come on live on the Travelers page and give everybody updates. So if you have not gone over and are a traveler of the R.I.F.T, go over to the Facebook page and join. And I will do updates when he's caught, or if there's more of an update. And I'll continue to do live updates on this because, like I said, this has gone on since August 31st. Everybody is staying very close to the kids on True Crime Community on YouTube because they're doing a phenomenal job of reporting this. They're on the scene. And Sharon said, always, even at Spring City near Pennhurst Asylum. And I'm going to keep doing lives. I'll keep everybody updated because of the fact we need to keep our eyes on this kid. He's dangerous. He needs to be in prison for life. Like I said, it was a domestic violence situation. We need to keep vigilant, and we need to keep our eyes peeled. I'm going to try to get a better picture of him, but we don't know where he could show up, where he's changed his appearance. Look at that. That's the helicopters. And we need to stay on top of this. Oh, I am. I'm listening to the scanner. I'm addicted. I'm obsessed now. Now it's an obsession because I want to know exactly if the astrology can work. And, well, welcome, Patricia, forensic astrologer herself. And this is just an update for next week's show. Miss Patricia will be on with me, and we are going to go over what the astrology said about Maui, the Maui fires. And also, Patricia worked on a case. Patricia, correct me if I'm wrong, and it's Aaron Carter. He had a mysterious death. And Patricia's going to give us her information on that. So Patricia will be my guest next week when we go over the Maui fire situation and the questions that have come out on the Maui fires. What did the astrology show, Patricia? She did a phenomenal write-up on the Maui fires. And now she's going to share that with us next week, and also Aaron Carter's mysterious death. And if she has any other surprise cases that she's working on. Now, remember, if you do, and I started back taking cases again, and when people contact me with forensic astrology, please note that we use timestamps. And if it's a text message, a last phone call, if it's on a Ring camera, a camera at a store, we need what's called a timestamp. And to do the astrology mapping, like I showed you all with Cavalcante, I started with the astrology chart. It looked like a natal chart. Then we take it's all math. Then we take the calculations and figure out the mapping. So if you need for me to do mapping for you, that you have a missing loved one, please, when you contact me, have that information, because the more accurate that you give me the information, the more accurate the maps are. That's why I kind of hesitate to give law enforcement any of these maps, because of the fact that I'm not quite sure how accurate the timestamps are. I know that the time that he went from jail, that's extremely accurate. But they said, well, the car was stolen between 7 and 10 p.m. We cannot use that as astrologers. We have, it has to be accurate. So, that will be next week's show. Sharon said, this dude should leave this area. Gratersford Prison is near here. Is that where he was supposed to be taken? Do you know, Sharon? And if you are in the area, are you getting a lot of news coverage on this to be on the lookout? I'm just curious about that, to see if anybody, I don't know if the mainstream media is covering this or not, because quite honestly, in the crime community and the true crime community, we all rely on YouTubers. Their shows are phenomenal. They have, Yes, we are on the lookout. Wonderful. Sharon, what I will do, and anytime that I get a new map or more information, I'll go live on the Travelers of the Rift Facebook page. And it's a private group, but that's where I'll just do the updates and keep everybody. Let's see. Patricia's chiming in. Sometimes you can use an approximate date to show the outer planets. Right. And so there's like 7 or 8 planets in retrograde, and that's true. However, with mapping, when you do the mapping, it has to be accurate, because of the fact that you may take somebody and the mapping could be 2 miles off, and those woods is a lot to be off. So I wouldn't even do a map if I didn't have the accurate time, like between 7 and 10. I wouldn't do it because to me, it's not going to be accurate to send search and rescue people out in the elements, which the elements are horrendous, that I believe that these people are going through. I can only imagine, especially with the heat last week. And I know Tammy watches the show a lot. Tammy's search and rescue in Texas. She knows what will happen to the dogs in this heat. And they did have one of their search and rescue dogs had to be medically taken care of last week due to the heat. So be vigilant, be careful. Yes, I was shocked, Sharon. Yes, Grattersfield is a maximum security prison. I was shocked. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute, let me get Sharon's back up here. I'll find your Sharon again. Let me find your Sharon. Yes, we have so much woods around the area. You do. And they're very thick. And also, what is also very, very important in this area that I did not know, there are a lot of underground tunnels in this area. Apparently, there's underground railroad tunnels in this area. Now, I know in northern Kentucky area, going over to Cincinnati, where the slaves would cross over to freedom into Ohio via the Ohio River, we have underground tunnels everywhere in this area in northern Kentucky. But I was not aware that the Underground Railroad went up into southeastern Pennsylvania. I was not aware of that. So he can escape to a lot of underground tunnels. There's just some cornfields, plus Hobbit land right by the power plant. There are so many places to hide that I think the only way is that somebody is going to spot him on a Ring camera, or he's going to break into somebody's house and they're going to hold him. So we need to get him the Schuylkill River. He has been traveling along creek beds to, drown out the scent for the dogs as well. And Patricia says timestamps are very important. Cite the time I used for the Titan submersible event. I jumped right on that and it showed the event clearly. If we get correct timestamps, and I'm waiting for a Ring camera, because as soon as he's spotted on a Ring camera up in the northeastern area, we'll get him. We'll get him. Because that's what I need. I need a timestamp. So everybody, please look out for a timestamp for me and get it to me. Sharon, plus Hobbit land right by the power plant. Okay, got that. And Patricia, they also have underground tunnels into and through New Jersey. I think he will travel south. I think he will go south to get to Cuba. He's going to try to get out of this country no matter how hard. That's the only way he's going to have freedom. Here's the tip line, 717-562-2987. So that is the little presentation I had for this evening. You know, like I said, this was a first for me to map somebody that's running, but it sure is showing up to be very accurate. That's just amazing to me. I'm in awe over astrology as it is, but when it turns out to be this accurate with somebody that's running, it's mind-boggling to me. So, well, thank you, Keith. Thank you, Keith. And stay tuned. At 8 o'clock, I will be back on with Keith. We will go over the energy for next week, a little bit information on the upcoming eclipse season, and we have a new moon next week. So it's a good new moon. Next week, we're going to call it the reveal week. Next week is going to be, as far as astrology is concerned, truth and revealing are next week. And it's a huge reveal. We have a lot of stuff on what astrologers called world points, which are when they're in a certain degree that they hit the world point, meaning it's worldwide news. So we've got a lot of that. We're going into the season of a lot of stuff is going to be revealed and coming out. There's a lot of information headed our way. So thanks. And Sharon, please stay safe. And Mark, where you get the notice if I come on. So I'm going to keep your area in mind, and I'll just DM you. I'll message you with everything. So thank you guys so much for joining in, and I will be back on in 10 minutes. So join Keith and I for the Otter's Den. Like I said, next Monday, Miss Patricia will be on with me, and we are going to discuss Maui fires. And I think you're going to be pretty amazed at what Patricia came up with. It's amazing what the astrology is starting to show us. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. I will keep you guys updated on this monster. Let's get him. We got to get him. So have a great week, and I will see you guys next week.